settle in, and let the day come to its close. There is nothing more for you to do tonight. You have done enough. So let your hands lie still, and let your breathing slow, and let this quiet story carry you the rest of the way down into sleep. You do not need to hold on to any of it. You can let each word go as soon as it has passed. In a town at the foot of a great hill, where the streets were narrow and the lamps were warm, there lived a clockmaker. And this was no ordinary town, and his were no ordinary clocks. For in that town, every person had a clock of their own. It was made for them on the day they were born, a small and beautiful thing of brass and glass, and it kept not the hours of the day, but the hours of a life. It ticked softly from the moment of the first breath. And when at last it wound down, and the final tick fell into silence, that was the end of that person's long day, and they laid their burden down, and they rested. The clockmaker's work was to tend them, to wind them gently, to clean the dust from their gears, to keep them running true. He had done it all his life, as his teacher had before him, and he loved the clocks, everyone, because he knew that each soft ticking was a life being lived. He could not make a clock run forever. No one could. That was not how the clocks were made, and it was not how lives were made either. He knew this. He had always known this. But one night, by accident, he discovered that he could do a thing he had never been meant to do. He found that if he reached very carefully into the back of a clock and laid one finger against the smallest wheel, he could hold it. He could stop the ticking. He could keep the hour from passing. He could give someone more time. And oh, how he wanted to, the first time he understood it. Because there was a clock in his care, a small one, belonging to someone he loved very much, and it was winding down, and he could not bear it. He could not bear to hear that final tick. So he reached in, and he laid his finger against the wheel, and he held it, and the ticking stopped, and the person did not die. Anyone who has stood at a bedside, begging the world for just one more day, knows exactly what he felt in that moment. The wild relief of it. You would give anything at all to stop the clock, to hold the hour still, to keep the one you love on this side of the silence just a little longer. And so he held it, and he was glad. But as the long night wore on, he began to see what he had done, because the one he loved did not wake and did not sleep and did not live. They were held exactly as the clock was held, frozen in a single moment that would not move. The breath did not come and did not go. The eyes did not open. They were not dying anymore, it was true, but they were not living either. They were caught in a stopped hour, like a fly in amber, going nowhere at all. And the clockmaker understood, slowly and terribly, the thing he had gotten wrong. He had thought the gift was more time, but a life is not made of time held still. A life is made of time moving, of one moment giving way to the next, of the breath that comes and then goes so that it can come again. He had not saved the one he loved. He had only stopped them in the middle of their living and called it a rescue. The hour was never his to keep. He sat with that in the dark of his workshop for a long while, and as he sat, his old teacher seemed to speak to him, the way the dead and the gone sometimes do in the deepest part of the night. The teacher said, "I wondered if you would find that wheel one day. Most of us do in the end when we love someone enough. And every one of us has to learn the same hard thing, that you were never the keeper of the hours. You were only ever the keeper of the clocks. Your work was never to stop them. It was to tend them and to wind them with love and to sit beside them and to be there when they run down. That is the whole of it. That was always the whole of it. And the clockmaker knew that it was true. So he did the hardest thing he had ever done. He reached back into the little clock and he lifted his finger from the wheel. And the ticking began again, soft and steady and unbearably precious. And the one he loved drew a breath and let it go and drew another. They were living again, which meant, of course, that they were also dying again, moving once more toward that final tick. But that was what living was. He saw it now. The two were never separate. To let the clock run was to let them have their life, all of it, right up to the last soft sound. He stayed beside them for all the rest of it. He did not leave. When the final tick came, at last, in its own good time, he was there, with his hand resting gently on the case. And it was not a defeat, and it was not a failure. It was only the close of a long and well-lived day, and he let it come. More time was not the same as more living. He understood that now, in his bones. The kindness had never been to stop the hour. The kindness was to be there for the hours there were, however many or few, and to let the last one close as gently as all the others had opened. After that night, the clockmaker went on tending the clocks of his town, just as before. But something in him had changed, and changed for the better. He no longer reached for that small wheel, no matter how much he loved the ticking. Instead, when a clock began to wind down, he would sit beside it. He would keep it company through its last hours. He would make sure that not a single one of them ran down to silence alone. And he found, to his surprise, that this was a far greater gift than stopping time had ever been, because time moving was the whole of what made a life. And the only thing that had ever truly mattered was that no one faced the quiet at the end of it by themselves. And somewhere in that warm and narrow town, even now, there is a small workshop with a candle in the window and a clockmaker bent over his bench, winding the clocks with gentle hands and listening with great tenderness to the soft and steady ticking of all the lives in his care. And one day, a long while from now, when your own clock begins to wind down, you will not have to fear it, because the hour when it comes will come gently, the way the end of a good day comes, and it will not find you alone. But that is not for tonight. Tonight, your clock is ticking softly and steadily, with no hurry in it at all, and you do not have to listen for it, or count it, or hold it. You only have to rest. So let the workshop grow warm and dim at the edge of your mind. Let the ticking go soft and far away. Let each breath come, and let each breath go, in its own easy time, asking nothing of you. Close your eyes. Let the hour be what it is, and rest.